it's way past time for millennials and Gen Z to start advocating for ourselves and our generation and for our children and grandchildren's generation. Because it's quite clear that what's happening right now is the baby boomers will continue to think about themselves and maybe their immediate children, but mostly themselves, and then they're going to die. And just around the time they die is when everything else is going to collapse. And if you don't believe me, think about this. Up until now, through your life, has the system been set up in a way for you to succeed? Like when it comes to the cost of higher education, you were told, oh yeah, go take out all these loans, go, everybody goes to college. Have you been able to buy a house? Is that even possible for you? Are you able to like get married and have a family, or be able to provide some stability and save? For the vast majority of people, the answer is no. So I don't understand why people are so committed to letting the systems that are still controlled by baby boomers and are really focused on their interests, why people are still so invested in believing what they have to say. And I think that I want to just take a step back and think about the debt and the deficit, the federal debt and deficit. Now, the first thing you gotta understand, I think, is that this is not a partisan issue whatsoever. I think that there are a lot of vested interests that would like for us to think about it that way, because that's one way of making sure that nothing will change. It's like coded to be like left versus right, Republican versus Democrat. And, Democrats are supposed to be, it's totally fine, just keep, increasing the debt forever. It's like we just have to do it. And that the Republicans want to cut it. But first of all, that paradigm is completely insane and wrong. Because all of this started in terms of the debt getting out of control first under Bush, who's a Republican. So we started all the the wars and put that on the credit card. The deficit exploded. We had the big crash, and then Obama came in. It got even worse. Then Trump came in, and it got worse still. And then Biden, even worse still. And now we've spent $35 trillion. And we just add trillions of dollars to the deficit every single year. But you guys, that is not sustainable. That's not a thing. Okay. And then people are saying, oh no, it's not a big deal. Or I haven't even heard anybody my age even say anything about this. And if you don't think that the boomers are just they're continuing to do what they've always done, which is think about themselves. And, if you say anything about it, then, there's something wrong with you. And if you look at what's happened up until now, if you do not think that they will not leave you and your children and your grandchildren and their grandchildren holding the bag if we don't do something soon, you're out of your mind. You're completely out of your mind. Let's do an exercise here. Somehow, for the first 200 years of this country, 200 plus years of this country, we more or less were able to have a balanced budget, right? And there were deficits, and we did have some debt before, but a very small amount. Like it really kind of started more under Reagan and stuff. But at the time, we were talking about hundreds of billions of dollars in debt, total. It's nothing even close to what it is now. Now, let me ask you this. It's 35, it'll be 40 trillion within the next, couple of years. And now all of that is public spending, right? It's money that's supposed to go towards the public good, to fund government programs, to fund the federal government, et cetera, et cetera. So in the last 25 years, can you think of one thing that the government does better now that it did in the year 2000, at the turn of the 21st century. Like, is our infrastructure better? Is our healthcare better? Is are people like happier? Is, like, public health better? I mean, what has improved at all? Like, at least if you spend that amount of money, you would think, well, yeah, we spent all this money, but like, look what we invested into our country, and look what we were able to do. Now, and the answer is clearly absolutely nothing has gone better. Like, our country and its infrastructure is an absolute dump. The wages have been stagnant for the overwhelming majority of people for decades now. And let's continue to do some of this math. And if you want to understand, like, why this is so controversial and why it's such a sensitive subject, I want you to think about this. Okay, so in the past quarter century, we've spent $35 trillion, and this has gone to mostly to like lucrative government contracts. Means it goes to the Pentagon and defense contractors, who every time that money goes up, and we give a bunch of money to defense contractors, it makes some people an awful lot of money. It boosts up like the stock market and stuff. Like, it makes BlackRock a lot of money. And people continue, if you have money, if you have assets, the value of your assets continue to go up. So where has wealth gone in the last quarter century in this country? Has it gone to you? No. But have we seen the country actually become a lot richer in many ways? Yes, but it's all concentrated to the very, very top. Period. If you have money, if you're wealthy, you've gotten so much more wealthy in the past 25 years. And we've been in like just a series of crises for the past 25 years. And now people are saying, well, the answer is to spend even more. And it's like, the federal spending, it's quite clear that really what we've done, and of course it is more complicated than this, but take a step back. What we do in one way or another in this country is we print money and we give it to rich people. That's what we do. And that's why the price of housing and everything else has gone so much. It's because we've dumped so much money into the economy for a select group of people, and every disaster that we have, the bailouts, the crash in 2008, and then COVID, each one of those things has made the people who are in charge more wealthy. And then they wonder why we're starting to get all this like populist energy. So when people are talking about, like kind of auditing the government, and like trillions of dollars just disappear, like, where do you think that's going? So I gotta say, we gotta figure this out. Like, really please start thinking for yourself a little bit, because there are no adults. There's nobody that's going to come to save you. We've got to start advocating for ourselves. Because think about this. You know how this works? Even things that are ostensibly like government programs, Social Security, for an example, was created back when people lived till like whatever, 68 or something, and you would start getting Social Security when you were like 65. So you'd be around for like 3 years. And there are people who have been on Social Security for like 25 years, and these are people who put in like $50 decades ago. And so now we have our money, people who have no money, giving people that have always had incredible opportunities a bunch of our money that we will never see. It will be gone. And even things like, if you had any idea how much money defense contractors and federal contractors get, and what the public gets for it, there would be like, it would drive people crazy. I was told, I know somebody who's a friend of mine who's an engineer who works for the Navy, and she told me, she said, like, a single part, like a valve, you know, for on some submarine somewhere, you know, they bill, it costs more than her house. It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But the federal contractors, they put out a number, and people pay it. And then look at the like the medical industry, even stuff like, you know, Medicaid and stuff like that. Because we are in Medicare, because we aren't, unlike every other country, we're not, the government isn't able to negotiate prices. Although it is giving people health care to, you know, health care to older people, the drug companies, for example, they come and say, oh, you know, this drug that we have, well, that's $500. You have to give us $500 for it. You know, in some other country, it costs $25. But, you know, this is capitalism. And in capitalism, like, we don't want the government coming in and saying how much of this money is going to go to them. So yes, while it does give a benefit to old people, mostly it's just another giveaway to rich people. Everybody knows this on some level. You can watch it. This isn't the free market doing its thing. This is the result of policy. Up and down, the result of policy. And I don't think that us spending even more and like going down a certain route, like, I don't even see anybody that has an actual solution. I think everything is coded as left or right. And we need to stop thinking about that. We need to stop thinking about that. Fucking think for yourself. Like, and I wish, and you can't just think for yourself. You have to find people to rely on. We need to find reliable ways of doing things. You can't just, it's not like everybody, you know, burn the whole system down, man, and don't trust anything. But we have to take a step back and really start being honest about what's going on. So please, like, be open-minded to this DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. I think if nothing else, people are gonna get an understanding of how much incredible amounts of waste there are, and the degree to which that waste is always, in one form or another, somebody who's already really rich and extremely well connected getting money from the federal government that makes them even richer and makes everyone else poorer. That's just a fact. So come on, guys. Cheers. Have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Bye.